My logo, I came up with it, I work full time, so I wear a suit for work. You know, I'm also an artist at night, so kind of like Batman and Bruce Wayne. So instead of, you know, being a billionaire during the day and a vigilante out for justice at night, I'm painting sneakers. So it's me in a suit holding a paintbrush and wearing sneakers. So, you know, I look like my logo, so for better or worse. My name is Brad Torf. I go by Astrotorf Customs. It was just an old nickname from high school from playing sports, so Astrotorf, like Astroturf. So that's probably why I get called Astroturf a lot. Most people don't know about me is I work full-time, and painting is a secondary business for me. Regular 9-to-5 job. I'm a dad, I have 2 kids, and I paint at night after they go to sleep. So I usually paint from about 8 till midnight every night. So it's kind of a double life that I'm leading here. This is gonna be classic Batman. So this is gonna be like from the 60s. The Adam West, that's what I grew up on. In fact, it's in our DVD player right now because my son has the full DVD set. There's a lot said about prep. Prep is key for wearability, but also for setting your design up the right way so it's clean. And my goal is to make it look as close to factory as possible. Even if it's some crazy design, I want it to look like it's been printed on there. I don't want thick globs of paint and stray hairs in there. So you want to look at it, make sure it looks as clean as possible. So I had a huge collection of Jordans, all brand new, dead stock in the boxes, and I was getting rid of all of them. And I just had this one pair of Stealth 3s that I got flaked on so many times for by the same guy. I kept trusting him. And finally I said, you know what? I'm not gonna deal with this anymore. I figured I'm gonna repaint those. Maybe I'll try doing something to these Stealth 3s. So I bought some Angelus leather dye and suede dye, as well as some leather paint, and kind of just figured it out on my own. I repainted those 3s and then dyed the upper of the Stealth 3s with red dye, not realizing that being on gray, it's not gonna be a true red, and it came out more of a burgundy color. Posted them in some of those sneaker groups on Facebook that I was in, and people just flipped out over them. They were saying how dope they were and like, can I do something for them? And I never even thought about it at the time. I didn't know what to charge. I was just doing something for myself. That's basically how I got my first client. It just turned out to be a local sneakerhead that wanted something similar, and it blew up from there. So one of the other things that I do, I learned this trick from someone years back, is if you're gonna do multiple layers and like lay a stencil down, use finisher before you put the stencils down, so it helps reduce the amount of paint that might peel up. So no matter how well you prep or anything like that, there might be a spot you missed or something still a little tacky. So I'll spray finisher, let it dry, and then when you put your stencil down, I still heat up the stencil when I'm peeling it, but then you get way less paint peel. So I've got a little bit of yellow paint in here still, and then I'm gonna add my silver, and it's gonna be about a 50-50 mix. It's still yellow, but it has a sheen to it, so it makes the yellow look metallic. It gives it more of a satiny look, like their costumes did in TV show. So now everything is gonna be this metallic yellow except for the words, so it'll make the words pop out. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do a first coat like this, and then I'm gonna add, I have to add a little bit of darkness to this since it's the same yellow, otherwise you're really not gonna see it at all. You know, being a sneakerhead, I don't know, whatever you want to call it, I just like shoes. It's a unhealthy obsession, and get a lot of shoes that you never have time to wear, but you don't want to get rid of them, because as soon as you get rid of it, you're gonna say, oh, I wish I had this pair to wear, even though some of this stuff gets worn once a year. And like we said, it's an unhealthy obsession. It's totally unnecessary. So these are the Torfenbeckers. So these are the very first customs I ever did. Like I said earlier, thinking you could just use red suede dye and they'll turn red, but they didn't. They turned more of a burgundy, and they still look dope. But this is the original Astrotorf pair. This is the pair that got it all started. it's difficult getting up at 6:30 in the morning, getting the kids breakfast and ready for school and dropping them off, and then going to work, you know, throwing on the suit, working all day, coming home, dinner, homework, baseball games, karate, whatever it might be. And then when they're getting ready for bed and unwinding, that's when I usually sit down and get to work. It's difficult, but I work to take care of my family, and my passion for art and sneakers and combining those two makes it worthwhile to stay up late and have to get up early and start it all over again. Now we're gonna do the blue. So we've added our adhesion promoter, and that will help with the midsole, but also with the rubber. So light coats, just get something for it to stick to. Being involved in art and being surrounded by so many people that love, whether it's anime or comics or comic books or the superhero movies that have become so prevalent in the last 10 or 15 years, even more so than they were prior. It's more things that certain characters I relate to, whether it's personally or something from my childhood, that nostalgia feel, which is the reason why, you know, I still wear Jordans. It's not because they're comfortable, it's because it brings me back to being a kid. So I think that's what's great about the comic books and doing the Comic Cons and having the opportunity to interact with people that are so passionate about something, and it gives you an opportunity to really learn more about something through someone else's eyes, someone else that's an expert on it. So we used the Angelus pearlescent blue. The blue is gonna lighten up, and it's gonna be more of a consistent finish, and you're gonna get this nice metallic sheen to it, that iridescent look. I think that might be good. Those 3 coats of the blue. So definitely notice the pearl essence coming through, if you will. See what I did there? Now we've got the lower half of the shoe complete, which is great. Just right there, it looks like a nice looking shoe, huh? So we're gonna do the upper portion all the way around. We're gonna do it in silver. The thing I learned early on with a business background is, if you're going to do something, do it right. Don't take it for granted. You're taking people's money, you're taking people's shoes. And I think that's important because people forget that there's more to this than just the art. You can be an amazing artist, but a horrible business person, or a great business person and a horrible artist. You're not gonna succeed long term. People appreciate the fact that my shoes look better in person than they do in pictures. The fact that I respond quickly, the fact that I communicate well, and they don't have to wait to get a response, not only about an inquiry, but where they are in order, let them know when I got their shoes and when it's complete, and ship their shoes out and not worry about anything. They know that they're coming to someone that stands behind their work, but stands behind their business as a whole. The very first moment someone trusted me to do a custom, it didn't matter about how much money they were giving me. It mattered that they gave me money, and they gave me their shoes, and they trusted me. So I had to respect that. And that's like that for any business. It has nothing to do with sneakers. It just has to do with business in general. So respect your customers, and I would encourage anybody, if you have any desire to do it, don't let anyone tell you, you suck, quit. Because there's a time where everyone was sucked and probably wanted to quit. And social media has a funny way of scaring people away from trying something. So focus on succeeding for yourself, and I think that's the most important thing. It's nothing like overly fancy. There's just something about it that, I mean, you look at the shoe and, I mean, obviously you see the biff and bam and stuff like that. You kind of know what it is. But you notice different materials tend to show the colors differently. Black painted on leather versus black mixed with too soft to make a sock liner, it's gonna be two different blacks. It's like when you see someone wearing a suit, a black suit that doesn't match because they've got a jacket from an old suit and pants from a new suit. It's two different materials. Maybe that's a horrible analogy. Maybe it's you know exactly what I'm talking about. I've just seen a lot of people with really bad suits in my time. Clearly, I get offended easily. Makes me so angry!